going to talk a little bit about E, how to develop E. E is a mental quality. It's developed in the mind. So the primary way to develop E is with mental development / meditation. The correct exercises to build the quality of your E, the strength of your intention, and how to maintain that intention over an extended period of time. We all have E, it's natural. The problem is that our E is fragmented, it's broken, it's weak. Maybe it's strong and short, maybe it's weak and long. So we need to develop it so it's powerful. It has a large amount of actual substance, and that we can maintain it for a long period of time. The purity of the E is the ability to stay very fixed on one thing, rather than wavering. And then the endurance of the E. So there's the qualitative and quantitative part of this training. But today I don't want to talk about seated exercises or mental development, but rather how E relates to Tai Chi Chuan practice, how it relates to this physical body, and how it ties into our physical training. As far as Tai Chi is concerned, E is more developed along the lines of how our mind interacts with the body. Of course, that happens through the nervous system. E and Ting could be considered the more active and passive aspects of how we use the mind in Tai Chi Chuan, and both of them, at least at the fundamental stage, run through the nervous system. If your nervous system is damaged, you could be said to have an E illness or a Ting illness. You can't feel that area of the body because the nervous system is damaged, and you certainly can't command it. So if you remember when you're a kiddie and one of your friends tells you, oh, can you wiggle your ear or something weird like that that they can do, and you try to do it and you can't do it, it's because you don't have those E pathways built. But if you practice long enough, especially when you're young, you develop those pathways and you get a hold of that skill to wiggle your ear. There you have the E to wiggle your ear. Now the same goes for all the skills we need to develop for Tai Chi Chuan. We don't have them, we need to develop them. Now, what does internal mean? Internal means inside, not outside. The Buddha said that the entire path from beginning to end can be found inside this body. So the path is not to be found outside, but inside. We must turn the light around, come in, come back inside. We're always distracted on the outside, distracted by Facebook, the news, by the opinions of others, just in a constant state of externalism. So first we have to invert our awareness and come back inside. This is keeping the Shen inside the body. Now, when we talk about E, we usually talk about the internal harmonies. The Shen, the E, and the Qi must all be harmonized together, must be unified into one. They must be tied together. So, the Shen is difficult to understand if we're talking about pure consciousness. These things are understood through samadhi and deep meditation. But at a more basic level, we could say simple awareness. So bringing the awareness inside the body. To be aware of your body. To know your body. Now you find that if the mind's distracted and you come inside the body and you're thinking, okay, I feel this, I feel my qua, I'm moving, and then you think about the news or what's for dinner or last night's little sexual encounter or whatever, that's called a distraction of the mind. So you are unable to maintain the awareness, and therefore your E cannot be maintained and your Ting cannot be maintained. See above, return back to meditation. Practice more meditation so the mind becomes more stable and you can really set the mind on a single job and it will not quit, it will not waver. That is called having a skillful mind. When you set the mind on a job and it jumps around like a mad chook and it abandons the job, that is called an unskillful mind. An unskillful mind cannot achieve Tai Chi Chuan skill. So, how do we do it? You do it by following the instructions, following the details of your method to the most refined degree, how you move. So for example, if you're doing ward off, and you're doing ward off, and you go, okay, ward off, and from the beginning to the end of ward off is like one thing, ward off, that has no E. Instead, you must saturate your body with the mind fluid. So the mind seeps into every cell of your body. This is like ink on blotting paper, sinking in. It sinks in when it's still. You write and it becomes still and it sinks in. So your awareness, the mind fluid, must saturate every cell of your body. Then the commanding part, the intention to move. Say you're moving from the foot out to the hand. That is E. So you make it very fine, just the very smallest point, as if you're moving only a cell at a time. Just command each part of the movement. Be absorbed into each part of the movement. This is training the quality of your intention, your E. But if you just do the movement sort of loose and ready, there's no E. This is why detail of form is so important. This is why a good teacher will be a total crazy stickler for every detail, and they will drill you to make everything perfect. Yes, there's some truth to the mechanics that, being this way or that way is more powerful, but more important is that you're training your mind to control every part of your body at the very tiny detail, very articulated. Because any millimeter of your body that you can control, that means you have ting, you can feel it, you can listen to it, you know it, and you can command it, you can intend movement, so you have ting and E developing through the nervous system, through the entire body. It's very important that you train yourself to the highest standard that you can. What that means is as accurately as you can. Now, I've taught a lot of people, and my experience is that the best students are the ones that follow the instruction to the highest degree of accuracy. Part of that is because they're doing the instruction correctly, but a huge part of that is because they're developing the E to saturate the body via following the instruction to a very, very refined level of detail. So the process is ultimately more important. When you do this and the mind fluid saturates the body, this is how you realize what Qi is. You start to understand experientially, directly, what is Qi. Then when you use your intention and you move it inside the body, it mobilizes the Qi inside your body. Because you've done it so many times and you've put your mind there, it's joined, it's become one, it's harmonized, it's unified with the Qi. Now the E and Qi are in harmony. And your awareness, the Shen, is inside the body too, harmonized with the E and Qi. This is the standard basic way to develop the internal harmonies. So then when you want to move and you command the movement, the Qi follows that movement. At later stages, when that harmony is truly built, and that takes many years, then when the E goes outside of the body, even though it's not through the nervous system, it's one of the mysteries, it's because Qi is everywhere, then the Qi can mobilize outside and beyond the body. This is a true skill, but if you do it too early, one of two things will happen. One, you haven't harmonized E and Qi, so your E goes outside, the Qi stays inside, and nothing happens. You don't have any potency, no power, or you have imaginary power. So the worst thing you can do is visualize something happening. If you want imaginary powers, practice imagination. The second thing that might happen is you've actually unified them. Your E and Qi are in harmony, they're connected. Then you project out every time you do the form. So your Qi runs out, And over time, you become depleted because the chi is leaving your body and you become sick. I've seen this happen to friends that have quite a bit of skill, but they practice in this way, and over the time they become more depleted, and they're sick all the time. Where if you stay inside and you follow the instructions of the Buddha, and you practice inside, your fullness increases day by day, your health becomes robust, and the mind becomes more stable. So, yes, it's true, there is a time and there are authentic methods for going outside, but in my opinion and my experience, 99% of your training at least should be staying inside this body, turning the light around, cultivating the internal, forgetting the outside. This is how you develop I in regards to Tai Chi Chuan. Thank you.